Never buy anything you don't understand is number 3. Never buy anything you don't understand, particularly financial products. Don't buy insurance if you can't tell me how it works and why you need it. Don't buy investments if you can't tell me how they work. Now, we're going to cover insurance in the insurance lesson, so you'll understand it. We're going to cover investments in the investment lesson, so you'll understand it. But a key in those, even after I teach you, is don't buy it until you understand it. And if you don't get it when you went through it with me, go through it again and go through it again and talk to somebody, learn from somebody. Don't buy things you don't understand. Well, Dave, I'm very good at that. I research everything. I don't buy anything I don't understand. Right. And that DVD player is at home blinking 12. Can't even set the clock on it. Number 4, consider the opportunity cost on your money. Opportunity cost on your money is when you put money here, by definition, it cannot be here. If I put $4,000, $5,000 in a Roth IRA, by definition, I can't go on a cruise with that money. If I spend the money on a cruise, by definition, I can't put that money in that Roth IRA. So you lose the opportunity of the cruise when you do the Roth. When you do the cruise, you lose the opportunity of the Roth. One of the ways you're going to have a cost associated with having done something with your money. You lose the cost.
What? $249 for a new cell phone? No thanks. I think I'll stick with mine for a while. Opportunity cost. It's the true cost of something in terms of what you have to give up to get it. Another way to put this, the benefits you could have received by taking another action. For example, the cell phone I was just offered. If I bought the cell phone, I wouldn't be able to get new tires for my car. The opportunity cost of that would be lost work time because of a flat tire, or no work time because my dad would never let me drive an unsafe car. Either way, I lose money. In economics, everything is about using resources efficiently. Here's one more example that can help you understand this concept. The opportunity cost of going to college is the money you could have earned if you worked instead. Because you went to college, you lose the opportunity to work. On the other hand, you hope that by going to college, your earning potential will be higher because of your degree.
A really good example of this is a guy I know that teaches investments and sells investments for a living, and I was on a stage with him, and he said, the story he told was this. He said, when I was young, in my 20s, I set a goal to buy myself a brand new Mercedes. I was driving this old junky diesel rabbit car. I hated it. And I set a goal to buy myself a brand new Mercedes. And he said, Dave, I wanted a 1986 Mercedes. And he said, Dave, the model that I wanted was $40,000. And I set $40,000 aside in a mutual fund. And I promised myself the first year I made over $100,000 selling investments, I was going to take the $40,000 out of my mutual fund and go buy my dream 1986 Mercedes. The story goes like this. He took his $40,000 out because he hit $100,000 that year in his 20s. Sharp guy. Went over to the Mercedes dealer. Young kid gets out of a beat-up diesel rabbit. They wouldn't even pay any attention to him. The salesman's kind of got his nose up in there. He says, so how are you going to pay for this, kid? He said, cash. I just took it out of my mutual fund. The guy says, where can we test drive? He said, Dave, I got in the car, and he said, it was my dream. I could smell that leather, that Mercedes feel, that Mercedes smell. Everything was there. He said, Dave, I looked out the window. I saw that emblem out there, and that emblem was saying, you're a success. And he said, in case I forgot to look out there, there was one right there on the steering wheel. He said, I drove that car home. He said, they let me take it home. That's called the puppy dog close. RCA did it with televisions in the 50s, and it became popular after that. They'd send the television home for the evening. All the neighborhood would come around and see the television because televisions were rare at that point. And by then, you were so emotionally bought into it, you had to go take money back. You couldn't take the TV back. You're locked in once you test drive emotionally. So they let him take it home. He took it home. His wife says, that's it, honey. You've been wanting this. You've saved for it. It's been your deal. Your neighbors came over and said, man, you are the dog. You are killing it. He said, I made the mistake, though, Dave. I picked up my financial calculator, and I put $40,000 in there. And he said, and I put in what mutual funds were averaging at that time. And he said, I couldn't do it. I took the car back. And I left my $40,000 in that mutual fund. And I went, later on earned a little bit of money, and I got me a $6,000 and $8,000 car. And 12 years later, I'm on the stage with him. He's driving a Rolls Royce now. He said, Dave, just for the fun of it, I left that one mutual fund alone. I never added anything to that $40,000, and here I sit 12 years later, and that $40,000 is now over $300,000. And he said, for fun of it, I was riding around the other day in my Rolls Royce, and I pulled up next to this guy in a 1986 Mercedes. He said, it was in prime condition. He said, I rolled down my window, and he said, I don't want to be smart aleck or anything. He said, but what's that car worth? The guy said, man, I just bought it. It's perfect. He said, I think I got a deal on it, but it's about book. He said, I paid $4,000 for it. So in 12 years, $40,000 either became $4,000 or it became $300,000 plus. Now, is it bad to buy you a new Mercedes? No, I'm not against that at all. But you need to think about that decision when you're doing it. Because you don't want to drive junk your whole life and not have a good life. I want you to get you a good car, okay? But you got to think about the opportunity cost and think about that story. When you're getting ready to plunk money down on something, what else could I do with that money that I might like the results better long term? The last one is seek the counsel of your spouse. For those of you that are single in here, raise your hand, singles. For those of you that are single in here, set yourself up with an accountability partner, someone that will hurt your feelings for your own good and you can bounce big purchases off of. For those of us that are married, seek the counsel of your spouse. If you will listen to the counsel of your spouse, you will check the opportunity cost and think it through with your money. If you will wait overnight and check your motives, if you'll do those 5 steps before you do a major purchase, and you're thinking about this stuff, you will begin to win with money. You'll limit your purchases, you'll make purchases that you're proud of, and you look back 10 years later and go, that was a good idea. Have you ever bought something that 10 years later you look back and go, I'm glad I bought that? Say yes. Those were wise purchases. You probably went through most of these steps and didn't even realize it, but now here's 5 steps that you always review if you want to have financial peace. Thanks.
Beware. Be aware. That's what this is all about. Companies compete for your money, and they do it aggressively, and they're experts at getting your money. Their mission is to make a profit off of you. Being a smart consumer doesn't mean you can't have fun, and it doesn't mean you can't buy things. But keep this in mind when making big purchases. Number 1, wait overnight. Never get caught up in the excitement and buy too quickly. Number 2, what is your motive? Is this a need or a want? Are you rationalizing the purchase? Number 3, never buy anything you do not understand. Number 4, consider the opportunity cost. If you buy this, you won't be able to buy this. If you buy this, you won't be able to buy that, and you lose the opportunity of one or the other. Consider that when you're making this big decision. And number 5, seek counsel. Always have someone that you're accountable to when you're making a big decision to bounce that idea off of. Even the Lone Ranger had Tonto.